Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, last session we started discussing about TypeScript, TypeScript OOP concepts, object-oriented programming. And yesterday I given you overview of what are various programming systems and how they work. What is difference between them? So we have process-oriented programming system, object-based programming system, and object-oriented programming system. TypeScript is an OOP language. It supports all the features of OOP. Now, in object-oriented programming, we have two basic things. So if anybody asks what are the features of OOPs, object-oriented programming, what do you say? What are the features of object-oriented programming? Encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, all these are not features. They are not features of OOPs. They are characteristics of OOPs. So many times you are confused in that point. Actually, features of OOP already we discussed. Features of OOP means code reusability, code separation, extensibility, code security. So these all comes under dynamic memory. These all comes under the features of OOPs. So what you said about the OOPs, those are characteristics of OOPs. Means how reusability can be achieved, how separation can be achieved, how extensibility can be achieved. That is what generally we call characteristics of OOPs. Characteristics of OOP, the characteristics, in these characteristics you will come across with inheritance, like polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. These all comes under characteristics. So because of these characteristics, you will have those features. And we will learn how these features are related to those characteristics. That is what OOP language is. So these are the benefits of OOPs. And these benefits because of these characteristics. Because of that characteristic, that is the benefit. Which characteristic, what benefits, we will learn now. We will see that. That means which characteristic is for reusability, which characteristic is for extensibility. Those we are going to see, we are going to learn. So you need to know OOP features, you need to know OOP characteristics, and you need to know drawbacks of OOP. Already yesterday we learned. What are the drawbacks of OOP? Yesterday given. What are the drawbacks? Tedious. Tedious means it is very complex. It uses more memory. It is slow in responding. Cannot interact. Don't support low level features. All these are drawbacks. Cannot directly interact with hardware. All these are drawbacks of object-oriented programming. That is the reason object-oriented programming we cannot use everywhere. at certain stages, at certain type of applications, it's not good. So these are features, characteristics, and drawbacks of object-oriented programming. Now, how to work with all these we are going to see now. First point in object-oriented programming, we have to start learning from concepts. First, we will see contracts in OOP. First, we will see contracts in OOP. So, anyone learning object oriented programming, we have to start from contracts. Actually, contract is what is a contract? Let's see. We have to start with this contract concept. Let's take one small real time example. Suppose I will give you one simple example, like suppose we have to build an application, and this application is for a bank. For a bank, we need to develop an application. For that, you have to prepare some database. That means you are a developer, and the job given to you is design database for that app. So your job is designing database required for bank application. That is your role, suppose. Now, to design database as a developer, what is the reference given to you? That means you are a developer, you need to design a database. What is the reference given to you? By seeing that, you will design database. For a developer to design database, what is the reference? What is the reference? Question understood? Your job is designing a database for a project. Now, you cannot simply design tables imaginary. You have to follow something. What we have to follow? There is a technical term for that. We have to follow database models. I hope you learned while learning your any of databases. Database models. These are the key for designing database. Do you know how many models are there? Actually, major, we have conceptual model. We have physical model. We have logical model. We have entity model. 4 database models will be there. Actually, conceptual model means that is the first stage actually. Conceptual model means to develop a bank application. Suppose in this 10 modules are there, because every application is divided into modules. Suppose you open any bank application like HDFC, this is a bank application. You can see the major modules in this bank application 4 or 5. They have personal banking, NRI banking, SME, wholesale, agri. These are 4 modules. Major. In that, minor modules will be there. Personal banking separate from NRI banking. NRI banking is separate from SME, wholesale, agri. Now, first responsibility of a developer in any company is identify which module needs data. That means every module doesn't need data. Few modules are without data, few modules are with data. What is the first job? Identify the modules that need data and keep all of them at one place. That is called conceptual model. Conceptual model means we have to prepare the list of modules that need data. So our review team will review it because this is all done by architects. In our companies, we have architects, they will do all this work. First, they will prepare conceptual model, then they will send it for review. A review team will be there. The team will verify that the model, conceptual model you designed is correct or not, according to client requirements. They will verify that you are not missing any module and you are not adding any extra module which is not necessary. They will verify that. After conceptual model is certified, that means your architect team says that it is certified, then we design physical model. Physical model means in this model we will decide what data to store. That means first step, for which module data to store. For example, we have to store data for users, you have to store data for manager, right? That means now the second question is, for users what data? That means username, passwords, his account number, details, everything. That means physical model contains information about table name, field name, data type. That means what should be the table name, what should be the field name, what should be the data type for the field. All these are decided in physical model. That means for every module, what fields are required, what data types are required, everything is designed. I will show you. I am just showing you one sample project related models. I have some sample project related database models. This is conceptual model actually. In this conceptual model, we will just prepare the list of modules that need data. Here we have only the list of modules that need data. After we prepare the conceptual model, then we will design physical model. Physical model looks like this. This is physical model. In physical model, we will mention table name, field name, data types and everything. Again, this will go for review. And our review team will verify we are not using any extra field, we are not using any wrong data types, we are not missing any field. They will according to client requirements. Once our team says that this is certified, physical model is certified, then we will prepare logical model. After physical model, logical model. In logical model, what we do, in logical model, we identify relationship between modules. That means, is there any relation need to be maintained between the modules? Relationship is identified. You see, the after physical model, logical model looks like this. This is logical model. In logical model, we will mention primary key, foreign key relations and everything. That means, is there any relation necessary for modules? Which module is related to which one? What is the relation? Primary key, foreign key relations, everything. So once logical model is also certified, it is reviewed successfully, then we have to prepare entity model. This is called ER diagram. You people call ER diagram, right? Entity model. In this, you will have table name, field name, data type, relationships, everything. This is the reference given to a developer to design database. Understood? That means now you have to design database according to this ER diagram according to this model. That means ER model is used by developer to design. Developer will use this ER model, and according to that he will design the database. Now very important, what is this ER model? ER model is nothing but it is the contract. Contract means it contains rules. It contains rules that define how and what to design, and developer have to do exactly as per the contract. So in every object oriented programming, our development starts from contract. To design every component there must be a contract. You cannot design simply like that. That means, remember, in a project you cannot add a new field by your own. You cannot remove a field. You cannot change the data type. There is nothing according to your own. You have to exactly follow the contracts. So you cannot miss anything from the contract. You cannot add anything extra which is not in contract. You have to design. That is what real time development. That means majority times you see people ask like, you have live project. Many times people ask like, at the end of the course shall we do some live project, right? If anybody says that we will teach you a live project, that is, they are bluffing you. They are misguiding you. What do you think live project means? Live project means you need to develop an application which is ready to be used by any business. That is live. You developed a project XYZ hotel, ABC hospital. That is not live project. That means you developed a project in a class, and that project must be readily used by any business. Are you doing that? Is your project like that? Then why you are saying it's a live project? They are bluffing you. They are misguiding you. Those are all not live projects. Live projects means we gather the live client requirements, we build an application according to the requirements, and this application must be ready to use. That means you give this application to that business, they must readily use it. That is live. All others are demos. That means anybody says that at the end of class I will teach you a live project. As a software developer, that cannot happen. These are all demo projects only, not live projects. If he is teaching a live project, that's very, very good, great. That means he is making an application which will be ready for a business, and some business will start using it. That's great, good. But out of 100%, they are all not live projects, right? That means the point is, live project means they have exact contract. Only these we need. Only in this way we need. And you have to design in only that way. You cannot go anything outside the requirements. You cannot add even a color of your own. You cannot even add a font of your own. Everything as per contract. Here heading should be in this color, it should be in that color. That means for everything it is mentioned in the contract. So in object oriented programming, our development starts from contract designing. Our development starts from contract designing. So here, see, let's go to our project now. So we are going to the project here, and our project is Typescript project. Okay, and here let's see, I am creating here in this, I am just designing LET product. Product is an object. In this object, we have a key. Yesterday we discussed already what is an object. We have a key name, and in that I am storing some number. It will allow. I am storing some price. In that I am storing some name. So it will allow. That means now this is not having any contract. There are no rules for this. Then this is abnormal. In a real world project, you can't have anything like this. That means for designing every component, there will be a contract. So technically, what is a contract? Contract defines rules for designing a component. Contract defines rules for designing a component. To design any component, you need a contract first. And how the contracts are designed? In object-oriented programming, contracts are designed. Contracts are designed by using interface. So if anybody asked you in OOP language you learned interface. If I ask you a question in interview, what is purpose of interface? What is purpose of interface? Multiple inheritance and all, these are interface behaviors. My question is simple, straightforward. Why we have to use an interface in object-oriented programming? What is the purpose of interface? Interact. This is the purpose. Interfaces are used for designing contracts. The purpose of interface is to design contract. That means in any real world project development, contracts are the key role, play the key role. And contracts are designed by using interface. Architecturally, this is the meaning of interface. That means, see here, I will show you. Now, currently, there is no rule for this product. Now we design a rule here. That means interface name. Interface name is some product is the interface name. And in this interface, we mention about the rules. Remember, interface can contain only rules. Only rules. And that means I am writing here, according to the rule, product must have a name and its data type must be string. According to the rule, product must have a price and its data type must be number. According to the rule means client requirement. According to the client requirement, product needs a stock and which is a boolean. Now when you design any product, your developer is designing a component. You will ask your developer that use this contract. For designing product, use this contract. That is what you will tell your developer. That means in the project documentation, we will mention that for designing these components, these are the contracts. You have to import those contracts and implement them. Importing, implementing, I will show you. Here, this component have to follow which contract? iProduct contract. Just we have to put a colon and say iProduct. Now immediately it will show errors. Now your OOP language becomes intelligent and it says that as per the contract, you are not designing. Immediately it shows that. And see what it says. It says that as per the contract, this must be a string and you are assigning a number. That means who told you that name is string? The contract said. And what is the contract interface? That means according to the contract, we need to keep this in a string way, Samsung TV. And according to this, price must be a number. Still, my component is not satisfied. My OOP language saying that as per contract, stock is not mentioned. That means you see, it says that stock is missing. That means you are implementing a contract, then exactly as per the contract you need to design. That means now there is no stock, then I have to mention stock. Stock is what? True. Because it's a Boolean type. And see what I am doing now. I am adding one more extra as rating as 4.5. It says error. It says that according to contract, there is no rating. From where you are rating? It cannot happen. Real world live development will be as per the contracts. No imaginations. No own implementations. Everything as per contract. That means as a developer, we will first ask, where are the contracts for this component? They will tell, this is where these contracts are there. Contracts means sometimes you are the person, you are learning Java, .NET, some technology. What you are learning how to build an application by using some library. Who built that library? Somebody built a library and given you that library, you are just using that library. And the people who built the library for you, they have built everything as per contracts. That is the reason in real-time development, sometimes you may not directly design contracts. That will be mostly for the people who are designing the library. Before you start building an application, a library need to be built for you. After building library that is sent to you as a developer, you will just use that library. Right? That means you are using the library and building an application. But who built that library? It is not always you build the library. Some architects build the library and those people will give you the library. By using that library, you build application. That is how it happens. Generally, in real world development process, actually what happens is, so we have architects. These architects will build library for you, and this library will be used by developer and they will build an application for us. And you are a developer, you are learning Java or .NET or Python, some technologies. Now, people who are at the architect role, they are also Java people, they are also .NET people, they are also Python people. And but what additional knowledge they have than you is they are very strong in design patterns. They are very strong in design patterns. You may be using only few of those design patterns as a developer. That means design patterns, later we will discuss when time comes. These are the key for building applications. And if you show 5-10 years experience in any technology, they will ask knowledge of design patterns. So these design patterns guide us in a proper way of building applications, libraries. For example, suppose in Java.NET you are using a class to connect with database called Oracle. Right? Who built that class? You are using a class to connect with the database. The person who built the class, he is genius. Why? Because he designed a network program. That network program will use protocols. It will connect with the database servers. That means you are just using the class. He built the class for you. So technically, contracts are required at a building library. That is the reason while building application, you will be very less working with contracts. Because already library is built for you. You have to just use them. Contracts will be at the level of building library. Building the library. For example, you see here, suppose any job roles you are searching for. Suppose you are searching for Java developer, and or say Java architect. We are searching for Java architect role, Java or .NET architect's role. And you can see the minimum experience 9-10 years. The minimum experience 12-16 years. This is not for you. And who are these architects? That means usually these architects will be working on lot of design patterns. Somewhere they may have mentioned those design patterns very common, right? Not everywhere you can see that, but these are mandatory. That means architects, let's do one more refined search here. Like suppose you see architects. Yeah, I'm editing this search box. This is Java architect, suppose design patterns. And you see design patterns. That means these are very important. Design patterns are important. And people with minimum 5-6 years experience only can be in architect roles. Not as a fresher. Even 1-2 years experience also cannot. It's difficult until or unless you have very exceptional skills in technology. After 1-2 years you can become an architect, but very tough. It will take minimum 5-10 years of time. And very important is contract are at building library, right? That is the reason if anybody asks what is the purpose of interface in OOP language, the purpose of interface is to design contract. And what is a contract? Contract is nothing but it defines rules for designing a component. And very important is every rule in contract is mandatory. And how to skip them I will tell you here. Another option is you cannot ignore any specified rule or add new functionality which is not defined in contract. It is mandatory to follow exactly how it is. You cannot ignore any specified rule. You cannot add any new functionality which is not in the contract. So everything you have to design as per contract. That is what actually contract is. That means syntactically how we define interface and the name, and you have to configure the rules. Here we have to define the rules. And very important, interface can contain only rules. Interface can contain only rules, not implementation. It can contain only rules, not implementation. Only rules must be there, no implementations. That means, for example, so syntactically, suppose we have interface some I product is an interface and we have name, it is string type and is equal to TV, something like this. This is invalid because contract cannot contain a value. Contract just can contain only rule. Only rule. That means no values. That means what is the valid way? The valid is a name string. That's it. So this is valid. No values. Because contract will tell how it should be. It will not tell what it should be inside. That you decide according to your requirements. So generally when you are designing an interface, this is the basic point, right? First option is, the first important option is, how do we design a contract? How do we define a contract? Interface, interface name, and what are the rules? Here so many points are there. I will explain one by one. So no need to hurry into doubts until I finish the topic, right? Because it's a very big concept. Lot of things are involved in it. Let's explore one by one, level by level, right? First thing, you learned how to design a contract and how to define the rules in the contract. So I will give you this example here. So this is the example. This is the example, just roughly I am giving. This is invalid because it is not in contract. It is not in contract. Because you are implementing a contract, then according to the contract only it should be designed. It should be designed. That is first basic point, right? So we are creating a contract and we are making this contract implemented by this component, so that it cannot design by its own. It have to design as per contract. Okay. Now important is, generally TypeScript contracts can define optional rules. TypeScript contracts can define optional rules. They can define optional rules. Optional rules. Why you need a optional rule? This is very important. Let's see. We can define optional rule. Just now we learned that every rule is compulsory, right? For example, suppose I will tell you one simple concept here, means to understand what is an optional rule. See, actually, suppose we are developing a project. When you are designing a project, in a project lot of modules, as I told you, there will be there. Generally, every project will have an objective and it will have a goal. What is difference between objective and goal? Every project development have to pass through objective and goal. Every module will have an objective and goal. What is objective? What is goal? What is difference between objective and goal? What do you say? Purpose is objective and goal. Huh? Yes. Set of. Oh, I can't get. And the result, end result. Huh? No. I will tell you here. This is general project related terminologies. These are very important. Actually, objective goal point is simple. Suppose objective means it is time bound and must be achieved. Objective is time bound and must be achieved. Goal may or may not. For example, we are developing an application for some red bus ticket booking. In this, we have bus availability. This is bus availability, and we have ticket reservation, and we have live tracking of bus. Now, in this, these two, bus availability and ticket reservation, these are objectives, and live tracking is a goal. Live tracking is a goal. That means bus availability and bus reservation, ticket reservation not working. Then the primary failure. That means what is the aim of your application? Show bus availability and make the reservations. If they are not working, what is use? Nonsense. That means primary goal failed. Primary thing, objective failed. That means every project must achieve objective. Live tracking not working. It's okay. Live tracking not working, then we will use an alternative method to send them message. If working, very good. If not working, it's okay, fine, no problem. This is goal. Goal may or may not be achieved. If achieved, very good. Not achieved, it's fine. But objective must achieve within time. That means a ticket must be reserved in 7 minutes. Otherwise, session timeout. Right? That means it is taking long, more than 7, 8, 10 minutes. That means server not responding. Immediately terminate. That means when you develop any project, every project will have certain objectives and goals. Goals are the things, that means for example, you have shopping website. Every product have a rating. Every product have a rating? No, every product don't have a rating. Suppose some products nobody purchased till now. And nobody even purchased, nobody rated. Then there will be no rating. That means rating is a goal. If rating is there, it is good for customers that they can certify it. That means they can judge it. If rating is not there, then difficult, risky. That means the rating is goal. It's not mandatory to have. That means certain things in development we keep as optional. That means we will say that develop this. Now you designed a product contract. Just now I showed you. Every product need not to have a rating. Rating is what type? Number type. And it says that rating. I am designing some TV, right? For TV, it is implementing this contract. According to contract, we mention TV name, we mention TV price, we mention stock, but rating is not available because it is not given by anybody. Then it is showing error. Then how you will mention in contract that this rating is not mandatory? Then we have to use a simple question mark. This is called null reference character. This is called null reference character. I hope you know already in HTML and all, question mark means 0 or 1 occurrence. Question mark meaning is 0 or 1 occurrence. That means it can be 0 times or it can be 1. That means you see here, now I mentioned rating as optional. That means you can have TypeScript contracts can define optional rules. How to define optional rules? Optional rules are defined by using optional rules are defined by using null reference character. and that null reference character is question mark. Null reference character is question mark. That defines optional rules. That means what we have to do syntactically, we have interface, and interface is some I product. In that we have name is string type. Suppose we have price is number type, and we have suppose rating is question mark, and it is what type? Number. That means this makes rating as optional. That means it is not mandatory to mention about rating in every product. So why it is not mandatory? Because it is a goal of that particular module. It is not a objective. So name and price are objectives, and rating is goal. So whenever you design a contract, so in a contract we can have optional rules. In interviews they may ask this question, like in interviews they will ask why you need optional rules in contract. Why you need optional rules in contract? Then what will be your answer? You should say to configure goal of module. To configure the goal of module. And if anybody asks, so what are the mandatory rules in contract? What are the mandatory rules in contract? Nothing but they are module objective. Understood? This is at high level how we have to answer this, right? Suppose if anybody asks what is purpose of interface, and you start explaining about interface, what you learned in Java and .NET, he will surely understand that you are a learner of technology. You are not expert. That means by speaking to you just for few seconds, he can get clarity whether you are experienced in real or faking your experience. Because the terms that you speak, they tell him that you are not genuinely experienced, because experience terminology is different, right? So that means many people ask like, I want to fake experience and go. What do you think about interviewers? Fools. That means they don't know that you are fake and you are faking your experience, and they don't know. What do you think about yourself? Right? That means you are thinking that you are genius, then software company interviewers. You are faking your experience and they don't know. They know. If you tell I am coming from Hyderabad, he will say a fake person came. Seriously. Because Hyderabad have a bad reputation about fake people. That is not because of now, because of our software ancestors. That means a few years back, people made this as a fish market. Hyderabad software industry as a fish market. So you go here, certificate will come. You go here, experience will come. Pay 2,000 rupees, they will give you bank statements, everything. That means you are coming from Hyderabad, fake. That is 100% guarantee. That means you go anywhere like Delhi, Noida and all these, so and Mumbai and all. So they say, from Hyderabad you came, then fake. But they are even interested in you because from Hyderabad you are coming, then good skills will be there. That means subject wise, concept wise, you are very strong. They are not worried about your fake experience. If you can cover your face experience and you have good skills, they will take you. They are not worried about that. That means they know that you are fake. But they are satisfied with your skill sets. Then they say that, okay, let my HR verify your background and we are okay with you. because you have good skills, we have a confidence that you can handle. But after 1 2 months, you will have to undergo several trials. They will check you, and once you are good in your skills, then you can fit even with fake experience. That doesn't matter. That they know that you are fake, but they are confident that you are good in skills, because nowhere anywhere so much in depth about subject anywhere delivered, right? Anywhere, right? So only in Hyderabad place institutes only subject very in depth concepts are discussed. Others, nowhere this much in depth of concept is discussed anywhere. Even online, other education mediums also, nowhere. So that is the reason you will get confidence on the concept you are learning. Then you can crack interviews at various experience levels. So the point here is, terminology is important when you are dealing with interviews. So interface equal to contract. That is only the thing you need to know. And what is the purpose of optional rules? Optional rules are required for so configuring what? Goals, right? That is one point. Okay. Now we get we got clarity on two things: how to design a contract, how to define rule, and how to make a rule optional. Next important is, every rule defined in every rule defined in contract will allow every rule defined in contract will allow assignment of values, that means you can reassign value any number of times. Every rule defined in a contract will allow assignment. You can reassign any number of times. That means the point is simple actually. Suppose we have defined here, I will remove this writing. Yeah, we have defined TV product, and its price is initialized here. This is initialized. The price is initialized. Name is initialized, the price is initialized. After that, I am printing it. That means console.log. I am printing name is equal to, so tv.name. I am using price is equal to, so we have to print tv.price. So tv.price. So like this we are printing those details. Stock is equal to tv.stock. Okay. Now let's run this and see it is able to print those details that you have initialized. I will compile that here, and we will run tsc index.ts node index.js, and you can see it is working fine. Now what I am doing is, for the price, already the price is here. For the price, what I am doing, I am accessing tv.price and assigning some new value into it. That's okay, it allows. After initialization of value, you can assign into it any number of times, it doesn't matter. That means it allows to do that. That means you can run this and see, and it is going to do that. That means it will assign the new value. So you can restrict that. So you can restrict assignment of value after initialization by using read only. That means a contract can have read only rules. You can have read only rules. Read only rules, once initialized, you cannot assign. That is final. You cannot change. So what you initialize, it is final. That is what actually read only. That means syntactically how you define. We have interface, and suppose interface name. Here we define name. Name is a string type, and we defined price. And I don't want the price to be modified in future after initialization. Then read only price. It is number type. That's how we configure. Now once you make any member as read only, that means it will not allow to assign. It will not allow to assign. That's important here. So this is another important thing about contract. Why you need a read only members in contract? Why you need read only member in contract? Let's see here. I'm using here simply this price in the contract is defined as read only. Then you see it shows error here. And error is nothing but it says that cannot assign to price because it is read only. If it is read only, you cannot assign anything into this. What you initialize, that is final. It will not allow to assign. So this is very important when you are dealing with contracts. So how do we configure the rules? So this is how we configure the rule. Example, I will paste this here. I will copy, and here I will put a comment saying that invalid because price is read only. Price is read only. This is a simple example to understand how do we define rules. So first point, how to write rules. Second point, how to set optional rules. Third point, how to define read only rules. Another important, contract can have rules not only for property, but also for methods. Contract, till now you have given rules only for properties, but a contract can have rules for methods. What is property? What is method? So contract can have rules for methods. And what is property and what is method? So actually, to understand that part, generally, suppose we have here, so simple, like here we have some color I defined into this. This is color, okay. Now we have an object here. This is an object. This is a ball. And here we have, so ball color is red, and the ball radius is some 4, and we have some border as black. So this describes how the ball looks like. That means these describe how it looks like. So these are considered as properties. How an object looks like, those are properties. Now what this ball can do? This ball can roll. This ball can bounce. This ball can explode. All these, what a ball can do. That means ball can roll, ball can bounce, ball can explode. These are methods. Methods means what actions it can do. What are the actions it can perform? Now the question is, when these actions are performed, when a ball can bounce, when you throw a ball, it will bounce. When you roll a ball, it will roll, right? And when you pin a ball, it will explode. And these are called events. That means how an object looks like. These are properties. what actions it can perform, those are methods, and when they are performed, those are events. That's what generally in software development it happens. That means now you have a button. You have a button and its name is save. And this button is filled with some color, so yellow. Now this button is having width. This button is having width as 200 pixels. It is having height as some 30 pixel. It is having text called save. It is having BG color as yellow. And all these are considered as properties. These are all properties. What a button can do? A button can save, a button can open, a button can close. Lot of things it can do. It can print. But according to situation, currently we written save for a button. A button can do all of them. Right? Currently for situation, we are using this. That means these are the actions performed by button. This is methods. When it will do? When you click the button, it will do. When you mouse over the button, it will do. When you double click, it will do. When you right click, it will do. Context menu. That means right click, it will do. That means it can do the work on this. These are called as what? Events. So any component, when you are designing, that component contains three major features: the properties, the methods, and the events. This is very important in our Angular also, because our Angular's main job is designing components. Angular's main purpose is designing components for web applications. And everywhere you have to work with them. We need properties, we need methods, and we need events. So properties describe how it looks like. Methods define what actions it can do. And event tells when it can do. Right? That means now you set rules only for properties. There are rules to define for methods also. That means for methods, how we mention the rules. For methods, we mention the rules like this. That means now see here, we have name and we have price and we have, suppose I am removing this stock. Okay, just roughly, I will just keep what is required. Others I will delete. Yeah. You see here, according to the contract, it is having name and price, and it is having quantity. Quantity is number. I want total. Total have to calculate quantity into price. That means it is an action. Total have to return how much quantity into price. It should do some multiplication and return. So this is method. Total is a method. How do we write rules for methods? Method rules are written in this way. You have to define generally rules for methods. Contract can have rules for methods. Method rule comprises of method name and its return type. Method name and its return type. That means we just define like this. That means total is a method and its return type, it is a number. If method is not returning anything, then it will be void type. That is how we define the rules for methods. That's it. And very important, method rule can have only declaration, not definition. Method rule can have only declaration, no definitions. That means I will tell you what is declaration definition. Generally, you learned some JavaScript, then you will know some options. Actual, Suppose these are properties. Yeah. You see here, suppose we are writing something like this, like function, some details, and it is having some name like this I written. Just roughly, I am giving the point here. Actually, in this is the function. This is function, the methods difference I will tell you. Here, this is called the function word and its name. This is called declaration. That is called declaration. And details and name, this part is called, we call that part as signature. Signature. Every method have a declaration and signature. Method declarations, method signatures will be there. So for example, if you are Java, .NET or something else like public, some print, this is, so some options like this. Now this is called as what? Declaration. And only this part is called as signature. And what this function have to do? This is called as definition. This is definition. So usually methods, functions have declaration, signature and definition. And in rules, you can have only declaration, no definition. There cannot be definition. That means you write here, now we write here, total is a method. It should return a number. And what functionality it should do, you can't write here. You can't write here. That is only rule. That means you need to just put the declaration part only here. That's it. Now we have print. Print is a method. This print method will not return anything, then void. Now, method also can be optional. If you want print as optional, you can put a question mark. Just after the name, question mark. Then you have to put the method. This is signature of methods. Now you see here, according to that, we have to implement now. What is quantity? Quantity is 2. Okay, how total will calculate? Total is a method. How total will calculate? So total is a method. It will have definition now. So in contract, you cannot have definition. In implementation, you will have definition. And what it should return? Why it is showing error? Because it is not void type. It should return a number. Then we are using return. How it returns a number? That means calculate quantity into price. How to access the members of an object inside object? Already you know in JavaScript by using this keyword. This dot quantity into this dot price. It is accessing that. Now print is another function to implement, but we made it as optional. If you want to do that, then we have to use a print, and print is void type. And here we are using console.log. It should print name. How to print name? This dot name. It should print price. And how to print price? This dot price. And it should print quantity. And how do we do that? This dot quantity. And it should print total. How do we do that? Total method will return. This dot total is a method which will return a number. That's how we design. Now we have to just access this print method of this product. That means now we are using tv.print. It will print all the details. Now let's run this and see here. tsc index.ts and node index.js, and you can see it will print all the details. That is rules for methods. A contract can contain rules for properties and rules for methods. And when you are configuring the rules for methods, This is how we need to define. That means syntactically, example I will give here directly. This is the example for that. I'll copy that. This is the example we need to define. That is the example. So how we have to configure the rules and define the rules. So a contract can have rules for properties and it can have rules for methods. This is what a contract can have. It can have, for example, what type it can have, if anybody asks. Any type. That means primitive, non-primitive. Right? For example, that means here another point is, so the type for property or method can be primitive or non-primitive. It can be primitive or non-primitive. That means, for example, here I want to define, so methods and properties. Here I want to define, so some more, one more I am adding. Here I said cities. Cities is a string type array. I am defining a contract like this. That means it should be an array. And we have rating, and it is an object type. You know what it can be. It can have rate. Rate is what type? Number type. And count also what type? Count also number type. That is how we design complex contracts. That means we can have rules with any type. Then how do we implement cities? To implement the cities, you know how to do that. So cities is an array. Into that we will pass the cities. So string type. So what are the cities? And one more you need into this. What is it? Rating. Rating is an object. According to that, it should have rate, that is 4.3, and it should have count, which is some count. That is how we define. You can have rules for the contract defined in any complex way. So these are the options for the contract. So that means the rule can be any type, either primitive types or non-primitive type, or we discussed. Suppose if it is having manufactured, it is a date type, you can have that. And according to that, you need to pass a manufactured. Manufactured is a new date. Into that, we can pass any date value. Right? That means it can be any type. I told you, empty constructor will take the current date. You can pass any specific date. For that, we have an order. Year, month, so day. Right? So year, month, day, like this. This is all the concept, how you can define the contracts. So I will just give you the example of implementation of the contract. I am not printing all details. We can print all details later. I will copy this. This is how we define the contract with all types. We have the primitive types and we have non-primitive. This is only one part of contract. Now we have extending of contracts, implementation of contracts. So that we will see in our next session tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow we will discuss more about the contracts. Then we will go into classes. Contracts, classes, templates, so many things will be there in object oriented. That we will see in next session. Tomorrow we will do that. Okay?